This is an old TJ converted to a truck, and it's called the FrankenBrute. 2006 Jeep Wrangler. It's mildly modified, so I stretched the frame 27.5 inches. It's been converted into a truck, as you can see. It's got a couple different beds, which if you Google it, you can find them. This was originally built in 2013 in its first configuration, and I built it to raise awareness for shaken baby syndrome. My son was a victim at a local daycare, and we built this to raffle off and raise awareness for shaken baby syndrome. Every year we make modifications to it because the girl that won it when my son drew the ticket, so my son drew the winning ticket when he was 3 years old, and the girl that won it was Krista, and she owns a company called Lifted Ladies. She donated it back to Liam, so it's his Jeep, but every year I make some form of change to it to keep it relevant in the off-road community. So originally when it was built, it was a different color and had a few different components, but every year we change something. 2 years ago I changed it to this color, which is a lot closer to the blue from the ribbon for shaken baby syndrome. It's actually Mopar blue from the Mopar M. Under the hood is still a straight 6, except it's been stroked out to 5 liter almost by Phil Toney. So she makes really good horsepower. It's a Dana 60 front axle, a Dana 70 rear axle, Tom Woods drive shafts, Atlas transfer case, all Yukon gears and lockers. One of my favorite parts is the TerraFlex sway bar because it's massive for the street, but disconnectable for good flex off-road. Onboard air, onboard welder by Premier Power Welder. Hand-stitched Italian leather seats. It's got the flatbed, which above the flatbed is a Tepui tent, because Liam, my son, loves camping, so that was a modification he begged for and we got last year, so we put it on. It's got a Dometic fridge that goes inside the bed for when we are camping. It's also got a really cool camera system, so I'll kind of do a quick walk around and show a lot of those things. But this is the FrankenBrute, built to raise awareness for shaken baby syndrome, and it's kind of one of the flagship vehicles for unofficial use only. Unofficial use only is the shop where I build creative, one-of-a-kind vehicles for companies or people, individuals. A lot of them have gone to SEMA, and we just like to build things unique and out of the box. Something a little bit different than what you normally see. Like Path Killer was one of the vehicles that we built here, designed and built by me, and showed up at SEMA by some of the magazines. It was voted one of the top 10 best vehicles at SEMA in 2016, which I was really proud of. And that was a JK with an XJ front clip. But just from the front, some of the things that are near and dear to me and I really love: the Premier Power Welder under the hood, exceptional. It's a generator, 2300 watt generator, as well as a welder. Also have an ARB air compressor under the hood for running the lockers, but for normal trail use, I typically use my power tank, because the power tank, it's a canister that holds liquid CO2, and it'll inflate tires faster than anything on the planet. You can run air tools off of it. It's just a great universal tool that isn't stuck to the car. I can take it off and walk over to somebody else and help them air up their tires. Super winch. I have been a big fan of Super Winch for a long time. This is a Super Winch Talon, which is still available. I know Weston just bought Super Winch, but the Talon is a phenomenal winch. Strong, fast. I've never had a problem with them. FrankenBrute actually has 2 of them. There's one up here in the front, and then there's one up underneath the bed. Quadratech LEDs. Tested them out for them. I actually really like them. They're a good light. Pitbull tires. Can't say enough about Pitbull tires. This was the first vehicle I ever owned with Pitbull tires. Pitbull got on board when we were first building it, and now it's my favorite tire. Doesn't matter where I'm at, mud, sand, snow, ice, the Pitbull gets traction, just traction everywhere. And they work great on the road, even though they're a little noisy, but you know, phenomenal tires. This is the second set. The first set had almost 50,000 miles on them. So I love Pitbull tires. Inside the Pitbull tires, Hutchinson beadlocks, both an inner and outer beadlock, so I can go down to ridiculously low pressures. Poison Spider cage, Poison Spider front fenders. They're Highline, XRC Highlines. I made the hood, so it's a factory hood, but I pulled the profile of the hood forward to give it an old Willys look so that I could use a hood ornament. This hood ornament's off a 1949 Willys. Trying to think, I just installed these. These are the Steer Smarts sway bars end links, and it's kind of the beefiest sway bar end link I've ever seen, so I definitely wanted it on my vehicle. I have a bunch of other Steer Smart steering that's going to be converted to fit, but because this is so custom, their off the shelf doesn't work, so I have to do a little bit of modifications to get them to fit, but that's coming soon. Super winch tailing. Sorry, Mountain Dew cans. I drink too much Mountain Dew. That is a Savvy aluminum front bumper. Pitbull tires on Hutchinson beadlocks. Unofficial use only. Poison Spider front fenders. Rock crawler springs and shocks for the custom lift. Now FrankenBrute only has a 2-inch lift with 37s. It actually used to have a 1-inch lift with 37s, but I wanted to go faster, so Jeremy at Rock Crawler was nice enough to explain which shocks would be the best, so I ran his shocks, and it ended up being a 2-inch lift so that we could have the appropriate shock travel. Now inside of the spring, TerraFlex bump stops. Poison Spider cage. Inside. Also inside you will see a couple of my other favorites. So up top there is S-Pod switch panel. There's also an S-Pod switch panel right down there next to the Atlas shifters. And up on top of the dash, the big screen is a Red Peak camera system. So if we back up, you'll see here's one of the Red Peak cameras. They're actually at all 4 corners. And the Red Peak cameras let me see everything on the trail all the way around the vehicle, as well as record. So the system I have is a DVR. Power tank, that's what I mentioned earlier. The power tank is a liquid CO2, and that little 10-pound tank can fill my 37s from 0 to 30 PSI, I don't know, 20, 30 times. The hole in the bed, in the flatbed, is where the Dometic fridge sits. So in the back there, where it says FrankenBrute, that panel is removable, which is storage inside the bed. You can see the rear-mounted winch. Up top is the Tepui tent. So there's the Tepui tent. It folds out to this side. babyliam.org. You can see right there on the side. That is my son's website where you can read the entire story. In the side of the bed, underneath, with either bed, that is ammo cans for dry storage. Instead of the factory Trail Rated badge, I make these Trail Raider badges at unofficial use only. So you can replace that Trail Rated badge with a Trail Raider if your vehicle is up to it. So that's a quick walk around of FrankenBrute. If you have any questions about FrankenBrute, feel free to put them in the comments, and I will do my very best to answer any and all of them. Thanks for coming along, going through a quick walk around and letting me explain a little bit about FrankenBrute. So thank you very much. Stay tuned. Click the like and subscribe button. Click the notification bell. Follow along to all the antics. We're doing some pretty fun and exceptional stuff. We do fabrication on lots of vehicles, creative things, as well as we've teamed up a little bit with Gladiator Gang, which is Nick and his Gladiator, and we're going to do some fun videos. everything you can do from start to finish, from building a Gladiator in a DIY style, as well as we're launching a new series called Jeep Kana, and you'll be able to find it here on Jeep Kana and Gladiator Gang, and through the name you can kind of guess what we're doing. But definitely follow along. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.